Calling from the great beyond. We did it. Yes.
That was a thing. Okay.
Oh, man.
Hello.
Jeffrey Macabre, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We are pumped to have you. Again, this is Jeffrey Macabre from Shockfest Film Festival, director of Shockfest. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. The title is Festival Director. I think movie director. They're two totally different animals.
All right. So we're very interested to know about Shockfest. I mean, it's been running for 12 years, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. And I mean, give us a little bit of insight on Shockfest, this festival, and what you guys got coming up here on the 11th in Hollywood.
Sure. Shockfest Film Festival has been running for about, as you mentioned, 12 years. We were based in Hollywood for a very, very long time. Last year, we decided to branch out. So we brought our show to Las Vegas. We're able to partner with a hotel and turned it into a series of escape rooms based off of the different films that were at Shockfest. We always had guest of honors. We had Eli Roth, James Gunn, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy. Clive Barker was our guest of honor last year. This year is going to be Rob Zombie. And we've been traveling the country this year. We always had a tour planned out ever since January to go to New York, Las Vegas, and Hollywood. And then a little thing called COVID started infecting the world, and we decided we're going to double down and go to 5 cities instead of 3. So we ended up doing that. We did we did an event in the middle of Times Square with Silvercast Media, who runs the largest billboard in the country in the middle of Times Square, and turned New York City Broadway into a film festival, which I've never seen anybody done. Screen posters of our post competition up on that billboard on the Marriott Hotel, which you can see footage of that up on our Facebook page. We went to Salem, Massachusetts, and worked with the local witch museums to do a historic tour in the middle of COVID, and did a pagan ritual at the very end to summon the spirits. Finally, after that, we went to Las Vegas again. We did a magic show. We were the first and only live show in Las Vegas to take place since March. And since then, there has been absolutely no live shows, or before then. So that was a really cool feat, even though it was very limited. We have to work with safety. But that's how we roll. And then after that, we went to Amarillo, Texas, and did the Supernatural Drive-In, with the only drive-in in the area, and turned that into an alien encounter. Did a screen a bunch of movies at the drive-in, did a social distance. Hollywood. And Hollywood is a dumpster fire, so everything's all shut down, and we're working with it as we do. We turn lemons into spook shows, and that's what we literally did. We now have the Shockfest Spook Show, which you can experience at your very own home from Hollywood, inside your living room, online. So we decided to be a little creative with that one, and we've seen what other festivals have done for online events, which frankly we don't like. Because I don't want to go to YouTube and have somebody pick a playlist for me of things I've never seen before or don't care about. Our platform is a little different. Say, here's the schedule, now watch your movie. We do have a schedule of Q&As and award ceremonies, interactive experiences. We're always about interactivity. But we have the movies up for you to watch at your leisure as whenever you want for a certain amount of time. Kind of like Netflix, as opposed to YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's what we're doing. And it'll be this Friday. It's coming up in about a day and some change.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how COVID has changed this film festival in particular. Obviously you guys are trying to be way more interactive. You have your online piece, which you guys really doubled down. So have you been incorporating, especially with some of the live interactive haunts that you guys have or attractions, have you incorporated COVID into those?
I would dare say COVID made us better. We went, we like challenge. We're creatures. We're of the night. We're literal monsters. I don't know if you ever watched our live stream, but we live in the darkness and we interview filmmakers and yada, yada, yada. But COVID was an opportunity to stand up in of adversity and do something when everybody else is folding. As soon as we all heard about the news and everybody was shut down and staying inside and live events were canceling and people were losing jobs and work and had no income, we decided that now more than ever people need entertainment. So we multiplied our shows, found very creative ways, like what I said about Times Square earlier, and found creative ways to still showcase filmmakers in a way that they value. Who the hell doesn't want to have their movie poster up in the middle of Times Square? And I don't know a single film festival that's ever done anything like that. In fact, I can go off about how I find film festivals in general to be a crock because they collect films, maybe put on a screening, and give away some trophies, and that's about it. Filmmakers are a hungry lot. They work for nothing. They work constantly, and they're just looking to get that big break, and everybody's out to screw them. So we work very hard to make sure we're giving them something of value, something fun, and we've found that it's boosted our community. We've gotten thousands of submissions this year, which is more than we've ever had.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, I was wondering how COVID's affected filmmakers in general, being able to get out there and put together even a short film and submit that. So that's great to hear that there's been a lot of submissions, more than ever, because there's just a lot of great horror out there. I know for me, for example, I mean, we didn't know about Shockfest and all of the films that you guys are showcasing. And I mean, Satanic Panic, for example, I think was from one of the winners from last year, and that's like, I love that movie.
Yes.
So we were
and Chelsea Stardust is one of our Sick and Twisted Six. It's a club. We introduce 6 new filmmakers or creators every year who are innovative, and Chelsea is a member of that club for this year. So we like honoring her work. It's very good. Awesome. It's a good movie.
Now, did you when Rob Zombie first started in getting into film? Did he submit to you guys? Did he reach out to you directly to submit a film?
No, Rob, we actually reached out to him because we're fans and we just wanted to honor his work, and he was very friendly and receptive and said, yes, let's do something positive. So that was our communication with Rob. No, he did not submit a film to Shockfest.
Okay. And with all of the, obviously all of the festivals that were out there pre-pandemic, we'll say, what really sets the horror movies that you guys pick apart from other film festivals?
Interesting question. It also implies that the movies are the only thing that make the festival, which in a way, a lot of times is true. A lot of festivals don't really bring a lot to the table except the movies that they select. I'll say this. Last year, every film except for one got a distribution deal after leaving Shockfest.
Wow.
This year, we have a partner from a company called Acord International. They also run Brain Damage Films, Midnight Releasing, a bunch of other production companies and distribution companies, and they're offering distribution deals to our filmmakers. When it comes to the films that do come through, I gotta say, we get a wide range from people who are just starting out and have never even touched a camera, let alone a camera phone, to people who have been in the industry for years. And Satanic Panic's an example. Rabid from the Soska Sisters was a film we screened last year. This year we're screening a film from the Hall Brothers and Brandon Slagle, who directed a film called The Dawn last year that actually just hit like the top 10 in Russia. But their film now this year is Attack of the Unknown. That movie is amazing, and it's looking really, really good. We're also screening a film called 100 Acres of Hell, produced by Ernie O'Donnell from Clerks and Gene Snitsky from WWE Wrestling. If you remember Snitsky.
Nice. I remember him.
Yeah, that guy, the foot fetish guy. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. He's a big dude, yeah.
Big dude with a big goatee. We have a film called Await the Dawn, starring Dee Wallace from E.T. and The Howling, and she's actually one of our nominees for Best Actress. We also have Killer Therapy and Broil, starring Jonathan Lipnicki. If you remember Stuart Little, love that guy. We've screened that film, and we range. There's a big range. What separates our films from other festivals is a weird question. The short answer is really nothing, because filmmakers are trying to get their work out there. They submit to everything. I'd say what sticks out with us is the people who stick around and the filmmakers that end up really making it at Shockfest are filmmakers that really have a lot of passion and are very interactive and like having fun and doing something innovative that's never been done before. We don't just screen movies. Shockfest takes place 24/7 all year round. Because we have a live show we do every week. You can punch in and be part of a Shockfest show with our characters. I'm Jeffrey Macabre. I'm a creature from the other side, and I'm the festival director. We also have our judges, the Oracle of Film Festivals. He's an apparition. We have Mercutio the Beast. These are actual creatures that you can see on camera and interact with, watch your movies and judge them. I don't know any festival that does anything like that. So I usually run by people, regular people.
Now, where can you watch those shows?
Right now, they're streaming on our Facebook page. You can go to the Shockfest Film Festival 2020. Check that out. We're also streaming on Hellfire Radio on Facebook, and it turns into an audio podcast on Hellfire Radio. Those are the ways you can watch those now. It's about to change. We're about to upgrade, and I'll be posting updates about that starting in January.
No, that's awesome. I'll check that out for sure. I just want to get to the Salem thing. Now, this is the first time you did the Salem event?
Yep. We've always wanted to go to Salem, and I love Salem. But this is the first year we went. I'll say something really cool about Salem. Besides the fact that it was very closed down, we got to work with the Chamber of Commerce, who hooked us up with all of the big museums, including the Witch Museum, which is that iconic one. If you know anything about Salem, there's a big old church.
I know everything about Salem.
So you know the Witch Museum. You know that big old church with those red windows and everything.
Oh, I know it well, yeah.
Marco's been haunting it since 1979.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sweet people. And they care a lot about the history of Salem and the people who were murdered by the government during the witch trials. And I emphasize murdered by the government because that's what they did. And they don't partner with people because they don't want to make, light of what happened in Salem, Massachusetts in the 1600s, but they liked what we were doing and we took it with respect, and they ended up being comfortable partnering with us, and that was a really cool feat.
Wow. No, that's excellent. No, I'm just curious if you plan on doing that again, because I live in Salem practically. So
you should have been there.
About it. Well, I didn't know about it. Now I'm learning about this now.
Next year, absolutely. When the city's open, we'll all join you.
Yeah,
you have to come. We'd love to have you there. It was a lot of fun. We walked around. We walked into the magic parlor and cut off the head of our tour guide and got a new tour guide in the middle of it and did another walk. And you're from Peabody, aren't you?
Yes.
I recognize your area code. Peabody, like right next to Salem. So I think it was September 27th. Were you at all in that area? Were you by Cinema Salem? I know it's closed down, but
probably not. I'm not sure though. Maybe.
We have footage having the announcement of our special guest of honor up on the marquee of Cinema Salem.
Okay.
It says Shockfest 2020 Rob Zombie, and it was up there for at least 2 days. It was there in the middle of Salem. It was amazing. The way we announced that Rob was going to be our guest of honor.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
No, I would love you guys to come back.
He's a Massachusetts native too, so that would make sense doing it in Salem.
That's right.
So that would make sense. So I gotta ask you, obviously, I mean, you guys you're still doing your festivals. You're still you're doing 5 shows, like you said. So is this Hollywood, California? Is this the last event for the year for you?
This is the last event of the year. That's correct. And we'll be releasing a few surprises about what to expect next year, and we'll be giving awards.
I was going to say I had some couple questions about next year, and again how you're going to build and develop off of this, the pandemic this year. But those are surprises for next year.
We'll be making announcements on the show of Shockfest, and if you guys are interested in coming on Friday, I don't know what you're up to Friday. I'll get you guys some media passes. I'd love to have you join.
Oh, we would. Yeah, we'd love it.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. We got Jonathan Lipnicki. We'll be doing Q&As with him. We'll be doing Q&As with Adrian Harris from Friday the 13th, the first one.
Oh wow.
We have Richard Grieco, who is from 21 Jump Street, Johnny Depp's co-star.
Nice.
Got a bunch of other people on. Dennis Dunaway from Alice Cooper's original band. He's presenting a music video that he's nominated for Cold Coffin. We have an interview with him too, and that'll be part of our show.
And as far as the history going back to the first Shockfest, I mean, how did this start? What made them want to do something different?
Well, the first my time. At the time, I was hosting Black Box Theater, Macabre, moving the theater. It was run by a guy named Gil, a film teacher who wanted students' work. Way to do that, and he managed to start. And Mickey Rooney showed up, and it started blowing up in Hollywood. And from then on, I mean, it grew and grew and grew, and Wes Craven was a guest, and then finally we bumped into each other. I became the host of Shockfest, and that was the year Clint Howard was there, as well as James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, I murdered him, Gil, the festival director, and took over his festival, and now it is mine. And I take Shockfest wherever I please at this point.
Yeah, we love it. I gotta say, I love the characters. I love the setup here on shockfilmfest.com. We recommend everybody just take a look at the website. Like Jeffrey Macabre's been saying, it's super interactive. Get your tickets for the Shockfest Spook Show. It looks like an exciting event. And if you can make it live in person, highly recommend that you make it live in Hollywood, California. So obviously with the pandemic, are you guys doing anything special, anything social distance wise, or that people should be aware of to stay safe?
Well, that's the thing. Los Angeles has become such a dumpster fire that we physically are not even allowed to have people over. I don't know if you know about this, but there's essentially a stay-at-home order in Los Angeles. You're not allowed to congregate, you're not allowed to meet up, or you're not allowed to go anywhere. So we actually had 3 venues locked in originally. We were going to be at Paramount Studios. That closed down. They closed their doors, and not their fault. They just physically couldn't open it. And then we had Raleigh Studios, which is one of the oldest studios in Hollywood. It was also our original home. Shockfest has been screening to Raleigh countless times. But they closed too. Frustratingly enough for them, they really wanted to host Shockfest again. Right. And then after that, we got the Magic Castle of all things, who said, we'll make this work. And unfortunately, they had to close their doors too. So once again, it wasn't any of these venues' fault. I highly still recommend and love these people. And, maybe next year we'll be able to host Paramount Studios again, or Magic Castle. But for right now, the only way to come to Shockfest is to open the portal up into your own home. So you want to go to the website. There is a black theater ticket right at the top of the website. Just click that. It'll take you to the checkout, to the page. And that is the platform. We will be there on December 11th. And if you get your ticket now, you can watch the pre-show, which is actually an animated movie broken up into chapters, showcasing what Shockfest is, footage of all the live events we've been doing this year, and a couple cameos from celebrity guests who've been shouting us out all year, like Kane Hodder from Friday.
Nice.
Elvira, and all the
awesome.
John Lovitz, if you remember him, the comedian from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. I mean, obviously, a lot of famous filmmakers, actors, and other, even musicians, it sounds like, that are a part of this. And what I really like is the fact that it's more of an interactive experience. And like you said, it's not just a film festival. You're offering so much more. I'm excited to just ask you about the future, because I could see or envision you guys even becoming more of like a spooky world on top of and having those whether it's a hay wagon or just haunted houses. I could see you guys really going nuts with this, as you've probably done in the past and the future once this pandemic is hopefully behind us. So I'm excited to see what you guys get to do for next year.
Shockfest is nothing but a black mirror. The world's already a spooky world. We just like pointing at you and seeing that's pretty much it.
It's true. At 2020, it can't get worse than this. Maybe it can. I don't know.
Probably will. Waiting for the comet to strike.
That's it.
Volcanic molten glass to rain down on our heads. That'd be awesome.
Oh man, that would be great. So we always ask our guests, what's your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, God, what's not my favorite horror movie? Do you want the fun answer or you want the real answer? Because I got a lot of those.
You know what? Why not? Give us the real answer. We want your favorite movie or favorite horror of all time?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm a couple 100 years old. I've been a fan of, back in the 80s, I saw a film, back in the late 80s, made by a filmmaker who only really made one movie, but he's famous in Hollywood for being a special effects artist. His name is Stan Winston, and he made a film called Pumpkinhead, which...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's the only movie he ever really made, except for another one called A Gnome Named Norm, which never really made it to theaters.
Never heard of it, yeah.
It was a friendly kids movie about a little gnome that was never really finished. But Pumpkinhead is his only movie, and it's probably one of my favorites. Gosh, I can go off about horror movies. I mean, Mystics of Bali is another one. If you've ever seen that one, that's an acid trip for you. A young woman wants to learn the dark arts. She's a journalist, so she goes into the woods of Bali to find an old witch who teaches her how to be a witch, but then uses her body to suck out fetuses from unborn babies, and she becomes one of those flying head vampires that you see in European, in Asian culture, with that where their organs are dangling off their floating head. I don't know if you're familiar with that image.
Well, that is a good recommend. Yeah, I have not. Doug, have you seen that?
No, what was the name of it again?
Mystics of Bali. It's a public domain film on YouTube, and it's from the 70s, and you have to watch it. It's amazing.
Even better.
It's free. Go see it. It's hilarious, too, by the way. The dubbing is some of the best dubbing. Like, you'll just laugh your ass off. It's so fun. I think the old witch is a guy it's like some guy just doing a creepy old lady voice. It's hilarious.
You can find it right under Elsa of the SS. That'll.
It's like that, but I would dare say it's better than the She-Wolf films of the SS. I love it. I love Ilsa, but Ilsa's great. But Mystics of Bali is pretty ridiculous. It just gets worse too. It unfolds in the insanity and the more insanity.
Jeffrey, what do you think of Wolf Cop?
What do I think of Wolf Cop?
Yeah,
it's awesome.
You seen Wolf Cop? Yeah.
It's awesome.
Speaking of insanity.
Who doesn't like Wolf Cop? It's like RoboCop, you know? It's like, and I know we all know RoboCop, but like, go back in time in your brain. Pretend a world where there's no such thing as any of that shit. And then a movie poster comes out, RoboCop. What the fuck is this? Robot Cop? Fuck that. That's what I got from Wolf Cop, or Werewolf Cop. It's a good movie, really entertaining. Didn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, we're big fans of the Wolf Cop here. I'm a big fan of just like kind of horror comedies in general. You know, sometimes I love the gore. Sometimes I like a little bit of comedic aspect in it. You know, to kind of lighten the mood sometimes. But it's a fun one.
You ever seen a Serbian film? That movie's hilarious.
No.
Okay, it's considered the worst movie ever made because it's just so gratuitous and graphic. But I feel like it goes so gratuitous it circles back around and becomes comedy. I mean, when you're in a death battle and you skull fuck a guy to death, I mean, that's a joke. I mean, there's no way that's to be taken seriously. Wow. Literally, with your penis in an eyeball. I mean, that's how he dies.
Doug's writing that one down. He's definitely going to be watching that.
A Serbian film.
A Serbian film.
I got my COVID quarantine playlist going here.
What did you do in quarantine? Watch the movie where a guy gets skull fucked.
And that's not it. That's like the tame shit that happens in that movie. That movie is like yeah, that's rough. Enjoy.
Don't watch with grandma and grandpa.
It's the real Faces of Death. Let's say that.
Oh, wow.
Remember Faces of Death? God, that franchise is awesome.
Yeah, great franchise. Man, at least for me, early 90s in a VHS store, working illegally, and I remember the Faces of Death VHS boxes sitting out on the shelf.
Exactly. They were those, like, obscure movies. They were like hidden treasure that you're not supposed to look at. Like, what is this? And they're sold as real horror, like real crime stuff. And, of course, most of it isn't. But
do you remember, Doug, we were told, don't look at the horror section and make sure you don't go through the double doors. That's the adult section. Yeah, of course. That's where we're going to be headed then. Thank you.
Where else are you going to go? God.
And then a year later, it was like, all right, just don't go in the double doors. You're only like 12. You rent any horror movie you want, though, including Faces of Death.
including basement death. But don't look past the double doors. That's the adult section.
Yeah.
You can watch murder and torture, but you can't watch naked women. Otherwise, you're
Exactly.
That's evil.
Yeah.
Like, a naked body? That's horrible.
So Jeffrey, I think one thing is I wanted to ask you, specifically how do you guys pick your guests of honors? How do you get in touch with your honorary guests? I mean, obviously the honorary guests that you have, they're big celebrities, and so how do you get in touch with these people? I mean, is it just because of how popular Shockfest really is?
How? Let me ask you something. How would you do it if you had to do it right now? If I hired you to be our celebrity coordinator, what would be your first attempt at reaching out to somebody like that? I'd be curious to know.
I mean, that's a great question. I'd probably be trying to contact them through social media. I mean, that's the only way I could think of, or unless you knew somebody that had a phone number for an individual that was famous. I mean, we've been able to get artists on our podcast just by reaching out to them through Messenger, and somehow you either get a response or you don't. You get ghosted.
That's awesome.
So,
see, what I like to do is I started as a closet monster, so like I have a history of hiding in closets and scaring the crap out of people. So I try to like find wherever they live, and I just wait for them to go to sleep, and then I jump out and they come to Shockfest. And, oh shit! Okay, just don't murder me. That's usually how it goes.
Stalking 101. There you go.
Well, it's not traditional stalking. Stalking, it takes like time. You got to like follow the person. You got to really get to know the person. It's like being a sniper. This is when you live in the world of darkness and you're not a human and you have magic powers or perceivably magic powers. It's just kind of like very humdrum to just walk into somebody's closet. It's pretty natural.
And that's
like a normal Tuesday night.
Yes,
just normal Tuesday night. So you were hiding in Rob Zombie's closet and just said, whispered sweet nothing into his ear. You must join us on Shockfest.
No, I jumped out of his closet loudly and the bastard shot me in the face. It was awful.
Marco, welcome back.
Thank you, man. I was listening the whole time, but my headphones busted. I had to go scour the house for new ones.
Oh, sorry about that. That was my bad.
Marco, did you have a couple questions? I know that there were a couple things that you wanted to ask. You missed it. We talked about skull fucking, hiding in people's closets.
No, I heard the whole thing. I just, I really wanted to know about Salem, and he answered those questions. So that was like my main thing I wanted to get in.
I could go off about Salem. We started at the Witch Memorial. We made a whole little mini documentary featuring all the tours. I could tell you what the good tours and what the bad tours are if you want to know. Definitely check out the Witch Museum. That's the thing. The Hawthorne Hotel is really interesting. I don't know if you know about that place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got the haunted room and all that stuff, yeah.
I spent the night in that room. Nothing happened.
I'm not surprised.
Disappointing.
The Salem Marine Society actually owns the top floor of that building, and they've converted it into the inside of a ship's cabin of a boat. And they meet there once a month, essentially to party and to find charities to give away lots and lots of money to, because they're a very rich organization. That building used to be the Parker Brothers building. That's where they made the original Ouija boards. And the community decided they needed a hotel to make, because people were using that space as a freeway to Boston. So they decided to make a hotel in the center of town, and they worked with the Marine Society, who said, yes, you can tear this building down, but we need to have our club at the top of the building. So to this day, there's a room that technically the Hawthorne they can access it. They just don't own it. And we got to go there. It was really cool, but it's exclusive. It's I got some footage of it too. We showcased that in that documentary we did. It was awesome.
No, that's interesting. I had no idea that was the old Parker Brothers building, because to me the old Parker Brothers building's like by the train station, because I guess that must have been the second one.
There's probably a few, but that was yes, it used to be right where the Hawthorne Hotel is, and then they tore it down, and now it's the Hawthorne Hotel right at the end of Essex Street.
Did you get to go to Hello Fatty's and get some cookies?
I did not, but God, what did I eat? I ate. There's an Indian restaurant there that's really good. Flavor of India.
Passage to India.
Passage to India, and then across the street from there is a wonderful breakfast place called the Ugly Mug Diner.
Yep, that place is excellent, yeah.
Excellent. They make an amazing crab cake BLT, but when I was there, they had no crab cakes, the bastards.
Were you able to visit the Witchboard Museum while you were there? Was that open at that time?
Yes, it was. The Witchboard Museum was great. In fact, I made some friends with John Kozik, who is the treasurer of the Historical Talking Board Society. He's the guy who runs that place, and he gave us a little tour of all the witch boards. And it's fascinating because the Ouija board is not just a board with numbers and letters on it. There's variations of it that I wish still existed. Like one that if you roll the planchette over it, it actually shoots sparks. Apparently, it was such an expensive machine that they only made a few of them. They spent a lot of money on it, and it actually ended up being a failure financially. And of course, the man who invented it got to connect with, I don't remember if it was John or somebody else who he got the board from, because they actually have one of those in the museum. He looked at it and smiled and said, "I hope I never see one of these again."
He's got an amazing collection there, though, from, early 1800s, say, to, the more modern ones with Misfits and Samhain and shit. He doesn't even have, a haunted one that's, wrapped up in caution tape, a handwritten letter about, the history of it.
He does. It's hanging on the wall. You can look at it. It's almost a little too tall to touch, but you can look at it, absolutely.
Yeah, that place is pretty awesome. I definitely recommend if you, Marco and Kev, you guys have never been there, right?
No, I haven't. No. I live here, so I do anything.
It's located in the building that is owned by the Histrionic Society, who owns the one of the tours in the Harry Potter store. Definitely check that out too. I'll give them a shout out. I love those. Guys.
Yeah, the Harry Potter that place was cool. I forget the name of it, but I know they have one of the Nimbuses.
Why not?
Why not?
I think it's Why Not Swan.
Yep, you're right.
It's the Salem Night Tour is the company that runs inside that building. They're probably one of the better tours. Them and Ghosts and Legends Walking Tour. Oh my gosh, there's another one that I really like by Dr. Vitka. I don't know if you know Dr. Vitka, but Vampire, Voodoo, and Witch Tour.
That sounds great, though.
Specifically about the vampires of Salem that currently inhabit the town. Yes, there are vampires in Salem. It's a thing.
Nice.
Makes sense. Not surprised. Honestly, not surprised. Whenever we get back to civilization, you should come around for the food festival too. The food truck festival they started up a couple years ago. It's pretty awesome, man. It's like 20 trucks a day that they do or something ridiculous. So we did it for a couple of years.
I love food trucks.
Yep, right across from the Witch Museum. Right across from the Witch Museum, right there in Salem Square. They would do it, line them up. So it's always a good time. Always something going on in Salem, as Marco could probably tell you better than anybody. So,
always.
When is your documentary? When's the documentary on Salem coming out? I don't know if I missed that. If that's.
We're going to be releasing all that stuff next year. It was technically part of the show. So if you were tuning in to the Shockfest the Salem Witch Trials, yep. You watched it. But we're going to be releasing it all and alongside the Shockfest Salem Witch Trials as a big bulk package so you can experience the whole thing next year, 2021.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think with that said, man, we really appreciate having you on. Again, Jeffrey Macabre, Festival Director. Didn't fuck it up that time. Make sure you guys go online, shockfilmfest.com. Take a look at the package that they have. It's online, virtual, on the 11th in Hollywood, California. And, we just want to thank you for being a special guest. Anything you want to say, Jeffrey?
Thanks for having me. Check out the website. Tune in. The show's going to be this Friday. So if you want to get your ticket, now is the time. Check out our Facebook page, Shockfest Film Festival 2020. And I'll be watching. I'm always paying attention, and I like seeing new people, and love to get to meet you, so definitely tune in.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want to do something or you want to promote something, let us know. We're willing to chat. We'd love to talk more with you. And hey, maybe even next year we could see you in Salem. That'd be great.
I'm in. Sounds fun.
All right, stay out of my closet. Okay, thanks. I'd like to.
No promises. No promises.
No, you're not important enough to haunt, Kev.
Oh, man.
We're glad you guys are doing so well, and you found some innovative ways to kind of keep it up and keep involved in everything. You know, it's like you said, with everything shutting down, it's good to hear you guys are cranking right along. So.
Yep, and I'm interested in the submissions and taking a look at maybe some films too that I've missed. I mean, you guys have a great selection, so there's much to discover in horror, which is alive and well, which is great.
We got a lot of great movies, short films too. Surprisingly, Joe Lujan's Billy, a film called The Altruist. God, that movie's great. The Relic by J.M. Logan is like the thing with meets Lovecraft. It's amazing. Bad Candy's a feature film. It's a Halloween anthology. That one is, the special effects are awesome. Definitely check out Attack of the Unknown by Brandon Slagle in the halls. All of that's going to be at Shockfest this Friday. I'm still here.
Where's the rollout? Where's the rollout?
I love it. I'm still here.